All right, guys, good morning. Happy Friday. I hope your exam went okay. I did receive about 20 remind messages about things. So just a couple things. First of all, I do not mind grading your test again. But there's a couple things that I'm getting tired of, and I just wanted to share it with you. Your exam answers must match your scratch paper. Because technically you could finish the exam and then change the answers on your scratch paper. You get what I'm saying? So can't do that. So the exam answers must match the scratch paper. So please don't ask me to look at it if you mess up putting it in. Also, you're responsible for inputting answers correctly into the test. Now, something that I would look at is if I tell you to get rid of a decimal in a problem and you do, and they penalize you for getting rid of the decimals, things like that are what I want to look at. So I don't want to look at, you just didn't do the online problems and you don't know how to input answers in the test. You're responsible for that. Okay. So I hope I'm making myself clear, because I'm going to become less and less lenient about this, because these 20 to 25 remind messages are going to take me a few hours to look at. So it's not just one or two people asking me. There's 20 to 25 people asking me. So like I said, if you think something is wrong, I'm happy to look at it. But if you're doing something wrong, I'm not happy to look at it. Okay. So I hope I'm making myself clear. I hope I'm being clear about what I'm saying. All right. So you took exam 3 this morning. I haven't looked at it. You turned in 4.1 last night, which is the circles. And you're going to have an exam on Monday or Tuesday during your class time. You know when your class time is, right? I'm going to be real specific about this at the end of class. But since I'm making a YouTube video right now, I have to be generic. So you're going to have exam 4.1, 5.1, Monday or Tuesday of next week. And today we're going to spend most of the period working in teams on the review for 4.1, 5.1. Now, to give you incentive on working in the teams, I'm going to throw out some problems if you collaborate the way you should in your teams. If you do not collaborate like last period and you're all work separately, I'm going to require that you do some word problems on the test. So kind of giving you an incentive to work together today. By the end of the period, if I feel like you truly work together and you tried, I'm going to throw out some problems on the exam. All right, now before we get started, does anybody want to ask me any questions about 4.1, 5.1? All right, so with that, what we're going to do is you're going to go into your new Math Wizard teams. You're going to introduce yourself again, and you're going to say what you like about distance learning or what you hate about distance learning. So you're going to say one or the other. Okay, and then I'm going to check in with you at some point and see what the consensus was. Then you're going to do the review for 5.1. And we're going to report back at the end of class, and I'm going to clear up some problems. So right now it's 10:55. Class ends at 12:10. So you're going to be back here at 12 o'clock. So at 12 o'clock, you will report back here. I'm gonna change my mind. I need 15 minutes. So this is weird, but can you write it down? We're gonna report back at 11:55. So 11:55, and class is over at 12:10. All right, so remember, when you get into your teams, you're gonna introduce yourself again, and you're going to say what you love about distance learning or what you hate about distance learning. And then you're going to start on this review, and the answers are in answers, but the key is in, it's in the Google Classroom. So, all right. So I'll be seeing you in your teams and taking attendance. Hopefully you do well, so I can throw out some word problems on the exam. If you're not doing well in your teams, you'll have to do those problems. All right. Okay. I'll see you in your teams. Okay. The first thing I want to talk about is odd, even, and neither. So I'm going to talk about a graph first. This point is right one, up one. And this point is left one, down one. This is origin symmetry because the x is exactly opposite of that x and that y is exactly opposite. That's origin symmetry. Let's do another one. This is a different graph. This point is right one, two, point is left one, up two. That's origin symmetry because the x's are exactly opposite and the y's are exactly opposite. So these functions are odd and they have origin symmetry. So let's look at your So your number one is the function, the quadratic function shifted right to, and let's look at their only. Okay, if you're only looking at the graph, it's been shifted right to. And we want to know, is it even? Well, do you see this part of the graph over the y-axis? No, you don't. So it's not even. There's no y-axis symmetry. Well, this point right here is right 3, up 1. Do you see left 3, down 1? Do you see that point? No, you don't. So it's not odd, and there's no origin symmetry. So this is neither and no symmetry. Now let's say you don't have the graph. So let's say on the SAT, they don't give you a graph. This is how you do it mathematically. You put a negative in for x and test it. So this would be negative x minus 2. Now, does it look exactly the same? Does it look exactly the same as that? If it does, there's y-axis symmetry. Does it look the same? No, it doesn't. So if it's exactly opposite, it's odd and there's origin symmetry. So the x's are opposite, but are the 2's opposite? Yes or no? Can you guys hear me? Are you guys out there?
Yeah.
They're not the opposite.
Right. So that's not odd, which means it's neither and there's no symmetry. So this is how you decide if it's even, odd, or neither. And the symmetry goes y-axis is even, origin is odd, and none is neither. So there's your odd, even, and neither, and there's your symmetry. Okay, does that help or not? Okay, the next thing I want to look at is 2H. So take a look at 2H. Do you guys realize that that is the second form? That's not the first form. So if you write down left 8, you already got the problem wrong. So remember, with the second form, you have to do stretches and compressions first. So the correct order is a horizontal stretch by 3/2, left 8, down 6. All right. In problem 4A, you have a step at the end that looks like this. So you can either set up two fractions across multiply, or you could just multiply both sides by b cubed. And you do not take the square root of both sides. You take the cube root of both sides, and you do not put plus or minus. So when you have an odd index, don't put plus or minus. This is 4 times 4 times 4, so a 4 comes out. Okay, one other thing. I think I have time. I got 1 minute. If you ever are trying to find the y-intercept, all you have to do is put a 0 in for x. So this would be -2 quantity cubed, which is -8. The y-intercept is 0 down 8. So if you're ever looking for the y-intercept, just plug in a 0 in for x. And last but not least, I know it's 12:05. Oh yeah, 12. Oh, I have till 12:10, huh? Good, I have till 12:10, so I won't rush this so much. All right, do you guys understand what I'm saying about the y-intercept? You don't want to have to trust a graph, right? That you're doing freehand. Okay, go ahead. Do you guys want to ask me any questions about any of the stuff on the review? Okay, well, while you're thinking, I have good news for you. So since I liked the way you worked in teams today, I do want to use this class as a model in the near future. So if you guys could show your video, I need the class I choose for the model, they have to show their video. So anyhow, and for me too, to me, it's just to show your video. It's hard on me to just see a circle with a letter in it like B or W. I really want you guys to get in a habit of getting up and acting like you're in class. So you should have your video. I have to have my video on. You should have your video on. So like I said, I do want to use this class as a model. So please consider turning your video on, getting up and turning your video on. All right, these right here, 5A, I'm not going to put these on the exam. So the problems that have volume and mass, they're on this, but I'm not going to put them on an exam. I'm rewarding you for working good in the teams today. Also, on you notice stuff written up here. That's Mr. Johnston's writing. Notice on my key, I scratched it out. So the way I taught this, I didn't have you memorize anything. When you're writing an equation, you're finding A, B, H, and K. Okay, we're not using things that we have to memorize. All right, we have a couple minutes. Anybody want to ask me any questions about anything on the review? Any questions?
I don't have any questions.
All right, well, let me know. I'm available for a workshop or anything. If you want to get a group of people together, just let me know. The test is next week, Monday or Tuesday, depending on when your class time is. And I'm gonna let you go. It's 12:08, class over at 12:10. Any questions about anything? All right, well, I hope you have a great weekend. Okay, have a good weekend. Let me know if you need anything. All right, signing off, turning the recorder off.